Okay, Fambulen, we are live. Yes, indeed, we are live. I bring massive greetings to everybody. Warm welcome. And this is a very special broadcast today, now the 2nd of April, 2023. And like I say again, this is not just an emergency broadcast, hopefully for a few minutes, not go rant pound for that long. But suffice me for say, we've been compelled for do this program, as most people don't understand now and see the development will be the on-take now the country today. We the leader of the opposition party, Dr. Samura Wilson Matthew Kamara, entered the country from a sojourn abroad. So I've been just want to say thank you to una all. Again, just a quick reminder, today now the 2nd of April, 2023. This is an emergency broadcast where hopefully will last for some 30 minutes. And this surround the development today around the leader of the opposition, Dr. Samura Kamara, where in convoy got stopped. So we want to rub Motpan and small because it's necessary. It's absolutely a necessity that we for talk as how we understand things from a perspective of analysis. Maybe we will look at some video footages and look at other things then. And we won't be drawing a conclusion. We will left unto una the viewer then, what you una make of it. But we ask una please help me for share the video so other people at least go be a part and parcel of this program. Once more, this is not the TNN TV Media Empire. My name is Prince Emil Krumah. Today is the 2nd day of April 2023, and the time on my side is 21:15, 15 past 9 in the night. Thank you. Stay tuned. Don't touch the dial. Yes, Fambulem, again, I bring warm greetings to everybody. When you watch now and we will watch later, this is not the TNN TV Media Empire. My name is Prince Emil Krumah, and we just want to rub Motley bit waiting occur today to the leader of the opposition party, Dr. Samura Wilson Matthew Kamara. There was an incident, and we call on drama in Freetown as the convoy of the opposition leader, the opposition leader, the APC leading candidate for become president in convoy was stopped today, now mile 38, and there was much more drama around that. But before we go deep into that, for dive deep, they ask una once more, will you please be kind enough for help for share the video? And I want to play a few tips along with this program. I expect for be very short, no more than 30 minutes, no less than 30 minutes rather, no more than 45 minutes.
And we accept, but anything short of that is unacceptable.
So do you trust NEC to be credible enough to carry out the upcoming election?
Well, their record tells me they cannot be fully trusted. So we are working to make sure that all the companies are part of the process leading to that, and we have informed them that we are going to be observing very keenly. So that is, I don't trust them after the last experience.
Okay. Okay, so, but do you then anticipate a rigged election come 2018?
Once beaten, twice shy. We had a rigged election, and for the sake, my commitment, it's only for the sake of my commitment to the people, peace and stability of this country that I accepted.
If you win.
I knew, and they knew that I knew that the elections were not properly done. But for the sake, we didn't want to throw this country off balance again. For I don't want a single drop of blood for the sake of my own power.
But are you saying that this election would be different because, like you said, last election you considered defeat because of the sake of peace, but would we see that come 2018 for the sake of peace?
For the sake of peace, if we have a rigged election, I will not accept it for the same sake of peace.
So
because
does it
rigged
mean
elections leads to war.
So that means, so are you saying that people will go on the street or go out on the streets?
That is for you to tell. I'm not going to tell anybody to go on the street, but they have the right to protect their votes. We resist anything that is violent. We will resist any attempt by NEC to lead a process that is not going to be clean. I will tell you for sure that we are going to remain as peaceful as we can. We are going to take part in the process. We will just not accept a rigged.
But going back to your earlier statement, so are you then saying that we should?
All right, Fambule Munadon Yerida tape this now with current president when he was a candidate. Clearly they prejudge a situation but trying to play smart there. But the issue or reason behind why I play this tape is there were issues of trust then. You can clearly see that he's animated, or he was animated rather. And because of that, they make him views they're known and they prejudge the situation. And the journalists then they do quite a good work. The lady did quite a good work. And courtesy for that video they to AY TV. So you hear the president express himself on issues of trust. And contrast that 10-day to now, other people are expressing similar thoughts. And then such people, they want to silence them. That's the point, and that's the reason behind why I play the video. Let me play a second video.
In the direct international community, and they have a great say in what happens. Christian, I'm talking about being a mind for social media, so when you propagate any message through that, before you know it's out there, it's not 100%. You know, even the penetration maybe it's about 30 or how many percent. But a lot of people will read now. And the WhatsApp, they get Facebook on their website. So we get to take advantage of that. And why will they take the internet seriously? Because now in the direct international community, and they have a great say in what happens. Christian, I'm talking about being a mind.
Fambulem again, the second video clearly speaks for itself. And the reason why we play them again, because we do some contrasting, compare and contrast, then and now and then. You see, the president made a talk about the freedom where he been enjoy and in support of them. And they talk about, then he was a candidate. They talk about instruments then that could be used for influence the situation, the outcome of what he been pursue. Such is what you see in that video clip they were playing. Yet there were no ban on social media. There were no hard-handed actions taken on social media. I mean, for ban social media or pass on cyber law where people are not going to be able to express as it depends on the constitution, their kind of feeling and kind of thoughts, because it is their right, both for assemble and for consent and for express. It is their right. So now the points that they were play the tape for this, now the president they call, they say social media, now one of the most prevalent tool that where people can use for shape opinion, for help, for realize one's objective. But little wonder that if they frown at him now because you know the power of him. Also inside that tape, the way I want to let people notice is, you know, the government of President Bio and his supporter, then they can try for play down the international community as if it's not valid. Then they want dismiss them. But you clearly hear it, whilst he was a candidate preparing to run for elections, you hear what he say? He clearly mentioned the word the international community and try for tie the international community to waiting to happen inside social media. So in other words, social media is being monitored by the international community because now that space now we all they meet for discuss the truth, the lie, the propaganda, and the reality. But the people can get a filter because they know Uda and Uda and they look for day. Waiting and they look for day. Because there's a lot of rubbish there, but there's plenty of truth there. The president knew this pre-2018, and he clearly mentioned on the tape. So you can understand, he understands the power of social media and know how social media can influence perception and thoughts, both domestically and internationally. This not to me say so. This not the president say so. I play that tape one more time so it will sink in.
Why I talk about the social media, inside Salona, WhatsApp, Facebook, most of the young people are left na phone yesterday. So when you propagate any message through that, before you know it's out there, it's not 100%. You know, even the penetration maybe is about 30 or how many percent. But a lot of people will read now on the WhatsApp, they get Facebook on their website. So we get to take advantage. And why we take the internet seriously? Because now in the direct international community, and they have a great say in what happens. Christian, I'm talking about.
Once more again, Fambul, and this is really, really interesting. So you hear me? The then candidates, they say, why we take, and I'm quoting, why we take the internet seriously. I will left at that because when I read the tip for myself. But the double standard now, I want for level catch right there. So why should they in leadership now? You they try for play that down or suppress the people from using that by introducing draconian laws that go clamp down on the right of the people for access social media. Because why? You know, social media is a tool that is being used for communicate. So I no need for dinner the gun. Santigi no need for dinner the gun. Sampa or ye no need for dinner the gun. We can scatter all over this dunya, but we are able to converge in one particular point when that social space. Also, we get able for shape things, for shape perceptions, for shape opinion. And you hear about the internet as well, because why? It's been monitored by the international community. You hear mention the name of the former NEC boss, the National Elections chairperson, chairlady, Christina Top. I know been get mind for make that kind of announcement based on what happened on the internet, and I was being monitored by an international community that he had respect for then, but is drawing questions around the international community now. But that does not change the international community. They remain the same. I'll play one more tip, then we go directly to the Samura Kamara thing. But it is linked. I just try for provide context. It look a bit confusing, but all of it is kind of linked. Election, expression of civil liberties, your thoughts, your rights under the law to assemble, you know, all under the law, guaranteed under the law. Anything away from that is illegal, and that is tantamount to abuse. Human rights, if you like, and the rest of it. Let's listen to this.
And I am ministers.
Sorry, I need to start this all over again.
The country.
Come on now.
Independence to date, The Sierra Leonean has had a life that is less than what one would desire. We wake up in the morning worrying about the basic things that the rest of the world has forgotten. We worry about electricity, we worry about water supply, we worry about food, we even worry about security. Successive governments have failed us.
Right.
Good morning, compatriots. My name is Francis Ben Kaifala and I am Renaissance. The Sierra Leone Renaissance movement has called on fellow Sierra Leoneans to wear black on Monday. We call it Black Monday. It's a Monday where we are supposed to show our dissatisfaction at the way the country has been run. Since independence to date, the Sierra Leonean has had a life that is less than what we would desire. We wake up in the morning worrying about the basic things that the rest of the world has forgotten. We worry about electricity, we worry about water supply, we worry about food, we even worry about security. Successive governments have failed us.
Okay. Let's get this video off and carry on. Family, this is interesting, isn't it? Una no say this is interesting. Whether you are pro or con, for or against, you know that it is interesting. This now the current chairperson or the commissioner, very powerful man of the Anti-Corruption Commission, making a statement, a political statement then. And imagine on whose behalf he been saying for. Whether it wasn't an individual, it appeared as if it were for country, but no, it was political, so it was one against the other. In this case, he was speaking as an opposition person to the leadership then, but using the situation that existed at the time for make the case. So we could say, yes, the case was genuine. We could say yes. We could say that there was hypocrisy or double standard then because it wasn't being done on a fair basis of helping the Sierra Leoneans, as the benefit of hindsight can tell we now based on waiting to happen. What I mean by this, when a not been in a power, this is the case we've been make for Kamna power because things were getting a little bit difficult for Sierra Leoneans. And I tell you now, say with the juxtapose, with the contrast and compare the then and the now, or vice versa, the now and the then. So based on waiting Commissioner Ben Kaifala Esquire say Gisnop on this tape. Good morning, patriots, compatriots. I mean, all Fambulem, east, west, north, south, Mende, Krio, Timni, Limba, you name it. Everybody is lumped into that conversation there. Strong political statement. If you wear the suits and the suits they pinch you, me now you spokesperson and they speak for you. And they talk about, and they paraphrase Ben Kaifala now. Every morning where people then go sleep, where then grab in the morning, then worry about basic amenities, basic, the most basic of basic. And this was like about 6 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. But I know say it was pre-election. I think he will rightfully use that phraseology day. It be pre-election. It say every night when people then go sleep. In fact, imagine you they want to eat in the morning, and when you grab, you got no sense of direction because you they wake up to hard time. And hard time based on the fact that you not get access to money, you're not able to buy basics for put food on the table, feed you where, feed you picking them. Now you imagine that. You lack of the basic other amenities that in life where people can define just as basic but absolutely necessary when are running water and electricity in all day according to them. But let me contrast that view there, to then and then the now. Family, what you wanna say? What is the situation like as opposed then? So if you may make a case against a government then on that basis then they, and not to make for influence waiting una one say as opposed to when you listen to run then waiting the claim with them in the make and waiting at the real situation now in terms of access to money, access to goods and services, access to food, basic food for put food on the table because you go for work and get money. Where's the job? What's the value of the currency? Waiting at the economic situation, waiting at the cost of living. But of course, all of this, there is a crisis. But this was them then making a real case because things were getting hard. So they made the case on that basis there. But if things are harder now, and I'm being hypothetical, I'm not drawing conclusion. Supposedly things are harder now. What do you think, Sierra Leoneans? Anyway, like I say, we don't want Boku talk today because it's an emergency thing. And the reason why we can't have today now for can't talk about Dr. Samura Kamara in convoy, which was stopped. Stopped basically by security forces with guns drawn. Let me play the first video. It's in a way I just come.
You see, go party song.
No problem, sir. No problem, sir.
Yeah. Anton, thank you. I don't tell chairman, come and say, tomorrow morning, before I left, I will talk to you. You see, go party song.
No problem, sir. No problem, sir.
Yeah. Anton, thank you.
Right. So the reason behind why make a play this particular video, this is the way Dr. Samura Kamara just returned to the country. And Nalunge, I believe, saying that they speak. What's important about this particular video, based on circulation, what way they circulate, we obviously know say the man is a peaceful man. We don't say once or twice, they don't say things where they're out of order about them, which is very common in our society nowadays. That is they want to portray him as a kind of a violent man, where they incite. In other words, one time they accuse him of being tribal as well, simply because then they try for saying the truth now is equivalent to being tribal, which I not buy at all. Not on the basis of, I don't know him personally. Let's be honest, we don't interview him on this platform, but personally, no. But what he say, me look at the facts behind of what he say. So there are many people that will be complain about job. We get for member also that a lot of people have lost their jobs earlier on now this administration. This administration fired hundreds and hundreds of people. In one go, over 250 people, 241, 250 people, if not more later on, were getters, not in envelope as a decent thing for do, but in A4s, not in envelope, served to people from Statistics Sierra Leone. 241 young people on the basis that they don't meet the criteria. People that we government on train, and Statistics Sierra Leone are very critical component or arm of government where they help with all the statistics the way we need, we can lead to census and other means them have for appropriate budget in the day, because then they compute all that thing and divide them fairly across the lines. Even elections, they are very necessary. So this is not something like a specialist area. Of course, you get people that were a driver, you get janitors and what have you, but you get other people who are very professional in that sense, in terms of tabulating figures and other experience as well. We government don't spend, because I would say Anascoma in government 10 years, close to 11 a power. So all through the 10, 11 years, the experience acquired by these people and before they were employed, and all the training, all the monies where government spend, and some of them will have been there longer enough, even under Pakaba. But waiting, it look like, and this is not me saying this, it's the stats that I speak to. The people and we many affected by, we be affected. Now people and we hail from one side of the country, which is different from the people and we make the decision. Largely. And I was very much involved in that case. Evidences were sent to me. We do little what we can do, for try for urge government, let them do the right thing. That even though they're not certain people there, they say the people do not meet the educational requirement, which is not true. I still get certificates and degrees awarded to these people from various institutions of learning, Furabe College, Milty Magai, and Jala. When they send to me, they say, here's the proof. I still get them in my archives. So we ask government, look, if you're going to get rid of these people where we not support, please try for respect, the law and the labor law, even though they're old and outdated. But at least these people should be entitled to compensation. And another thing we need for the talk about, job security. Same thing happened to Madam Lara Taylor, a politically motivated case in which the Auditor General of the country surreptitiously sacked, not even call on suspension any longer. It's been over a year out of job. And the idea now, we understand the motive, because once she's out of the way, we know say auditing is not being done thoroughly, to a point where some offices in the country at the highest level are exempt. This is where we are. So now the reason and why we play all these tapes. So if you listen to Dr. Samura, the point here is, he is a peaceful man. Some people in the try for say, well, now immobilized. And no. But this tape I play, and I will play on one more time. You hear telling people them, una let we disperse peaceful. One morning, I will talk to una again before I left. Let's play that tape one more time if we can, please.
I don't tell Chairman Convoy say tomorrow morning before I left, I will talk to you.
So that's all he was saying. Much more like in a campaign mode, something where he entitled to, but you clearly hear him. Let we disperse quietly, peacefully. Let we disperse. Tomorrow morning, I will speak to Una again. We go have a conversation as family people, as comrades. We go sing with party song, and then we, go about with normal business. And one thing what we need for understand is, he does not need to, as a political leader, you don't need for inspire them kind of thing and they call on people for come out. There was no necessity for that, and he did not do that. The circumstances surrounding the man himself, based on all this court case, go America, come back. Don't you think people are kind of gravitating towards him because of that? And because of the actions that we don't play out, that there is some level of sympathy now for this man? Remember, he's an elderly man and he's been working, one of the most decorated public servants. When they speak, they speak on the record and on the basis of probity, of accountability, of transparency. One of the most decorated civil servant that has worked with every administration. Now you hear some people and they try for condemn him, but it can funny when they do the condemnation, because if you hear SLPP people and they condemn Dr. Samura, and Dr. Samura worked with every government for the last 40 years, every government. This include the military government of Valentine Strasser, the military government of the current civilian president, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio, and the late Dr. Ahmad Tijan Kaba, Anesco Roma, and now Maada Bio. But of course, then you don't slide into politics, don't come up and, this technocrat business is now politician come technocrat, or maybe you want, I don't know which one come first. But 40 years of service to nation. Internationally, he served on many, many benches of senior organizations, internationally renowned, reputed organizations, the IMF, the World Bank, and you name it, and you can't get bigger organizations than these ones. He served until finally, even though he worked on behalf of the country, but for the international organization as some kind of a representative, that was enough for him under the APC. They say, but it do so now, we serve the people them on we behalf, but can't work for we directly, so that it will be the opposite. So not from them to us, but from us to them. That's how he came and settled down and began work, foreign ministry, finance minister, bank governor, and you name it. Excellent public service. And I can hear some other people and can ask, well, whose development we don't do? Because why, again, it's such an ignorant question, because when they say whose development we don't do, they are asking in terms of, when whose bridge we don't build, whose solar panel we don't buy, whose ferry we don't put down. Whereas not doing job down there, remember, he's just been working as a civil servant and in position and have for carve out policies we go influence situation where they implement them that go raise the standard of life or living for Sierra Leonean people. That's what he's been committed to. That's what he's been dedicated to. He wasn't the president. He was a civil servant responsible for policies we will benefit Sierra Leonean people. That's what he's been doing. So if they make you argument and you want to question him, and I'm not saying that he's perfect. No, I'm not implying that in any shape, sense, or form. But some of the accusations are just completely ridiculous. So on this basis, we know say don't can turn out for being now the APC party opposition leader, we eventually go for the elections. And around these elections, a lot of things are happening in which it seems like waiting they can call inside dictionary a political witch hunt. So Namidian power, and they try for stifle opposition because opposition get momentum, and they try for stifle them. So I indulge in all kind of tactics. One of the things that we see is the New York Chancery, a case that has been ongoing for quite a period of time now, too lengthy for the comfort of Sierra Leoneans and for the stature of the man involved and in position where they aspire for. Because this completely has to do something, with the position where the man they go for, hence the dragging of the case, where many people, especially on their side, they really, really not appreciate. They just come up from New York. So there comes the sympathy for the same case. Yet there were two tranches in this case, as I understand them, of 6 million. Break that down. There is a 2 million period, which goes back historically to 2011, when he was Minister of Foreign Affairs, something we don't admit to when we make tip on this platform. A lot of APC people go upset. Why should you be saying that? Why should you? You don't tell me what to say. When you get analysis, I mean, you can disagree. And if you not that much disagree, let's have a conversation. And all I said was, it was a question and then a supposed answer. Dr. Samura Kamara get case for answer. And I make the case, yes, it's not emotionality. It's not sentiment. It's reality. Has he got a case to answer? Well, certainly there is a case against him. And the man himself has come public for explain that case they will bring against him. Say, yes, under me watch, I received 2 million, not directly per se. And let me break that down for them to capitalize on that. The 2 million go to New York from the People's Republic of China. When you go New York, because of my good rapport, they paraphrase Dr. Samura now with the New York Chancery, the officials who were there then, I asked them, look, unalo we transfer this money into a safe account, now Freetown at the National Bank, inside a special account. And on that advice, this is exactly what happened. And I'm saying this, like I said, I paraphrase Dr. Samura, so I'm not making any of this up. So that money end up for Kamna Freetown inside a special account, where Dr. Samura under in tenure begin for supervise contractor yonder, this ministry yonder, because it's a huge project. So money get for disbursed to different ends. This money will disbursed in different ends. Now, when a different government come, government say there is something wrong with this fund where been there under your supervision. Now you tell me whether there is no case to answer. You can have your suspicions, and rightfully so, but there lies the case. And when government call you, when the law bites, you have to, you get for listen and attend. There's someone you order subpoena you get for attend. So he's got a battery of lawyers because now the law for go fed the case and prove that, listen, I am not our client is not guilty. But because the case is being dragged and the position that the man occupied, now they wait whilst for the focus on campaign messages, to the people. Election is looming. I think we get roughly about 83 or 82 more days to go to elections. Very critical period. Yet he's under all this pressure with a potential of him being convicted, because if we can go by the thoughts of many people and just follow the pattern, it's like his fate is sealed. I say if we follow the pattern, his fate is sealed. So it's a matter of time for let them land that and destabilize the opposition party so that they not put up a good fight, or they become, like a non-entity. That force, that force where they for come with, they really not come with them, because obviously of the case where they go on. So they put criminal case on you. Imagine at this critical hour, the 11th hour, what happens to all the party faithfuls? That shock, that jolt, they put all man off force. All man off. Tete una they recover, a couple of weeks don't pass again. You don't see? A couple of weeks don't pass. And nothing can be done in that regard. But for go back na convention or make some arrangement and waiting the PPRC law say. So all of this drama they unfold, hence why we title Drama in Sierra Leone in Freetown today, as the convoy carrying the leader of the opposition, All People's Congress, in convoy stopped by security personnel, state security personnel, and fearful, guns drawn. Some of the videos that I can show now, one or two of them before we close this program, are the one because not to, I mean, it's not too graphic, but not to all man get hard for like see that cold metal, that cold steel, guns drawn. It's scary, even when myself watch them. I've been fear for some of the people, but we go talk about that. Let's take a quick look at the short video.
Okay, Media Empire, SL Media One, Tagman Press. We then at 38 now as the OSD them. They don't block Dr. Samura Kamara'S Convoy. They even they all gun them. They say if the convoy move, then they shoot. As we see now, the OSD they all gun. They one shoot. The OSD they one shoot. The kill where they don't use for kill Sierra Leoneans them. Now that killing they still they want continue it. You see, the OSD them the kill where they don't use for kill Sierra Leoneans them. When they kill evangelism. Now that same killing they want continue. This whether they get to Sierra Leoneans them. Anytime when the APC come out, then they cock gun for kill, and they want kill more people. We see whether they all peaceful. This no matter beyond administration. Voice of Local Media Empire, SL Media One, Tagman Press. We then at 38 now as the OSD them. They don't block Dr. Samura Kamara'S Convoy. They even they all gun them. They say if the convoy move, then they shoot. As we see now, the OSD they all gun. They want shoot. The OSD they want shoot. The kill where they don't use for kill Sierra Leoneans them. Now that killing they still they want continue it. You see, the OSD them, the kill where they don't use for kill Sierra Leoneans them, when they kill evangelism, now that same killing they want continue. Mother beyond administration, now the atrocities and problem this, whether they get to Sierra Leoneans them. Anytime when the APC come out, then they cock gun for kill. And they want kill more people. We see when they all pistol them, they all AK-47 other weapon them for fire. This no matter beyond administration, waiting and they do to Sierra Leoneans them. And most of the main opposition party, they don't block the convoy. They don't block the convoy, they all gun them, they say and they shoot. This na Tagman Press, SL Media One.
Okay, let me do a quick analysis of this video. So first of all, Fambulem, I take no responsibility for the voiceover on the video. It's obviously coming from the party who is under attack, and in a situation of Baku propaganda on all sides, Abimwalo will focus more on the video itself, the actions, the footage. We focus on them, and a little bit of the voiceover. But you can see that the voiceover, it was going to the extent of describing a situation, which then they anticipate, say that's what it was. Other people then would differ. And I certainly want differ with some of it, the situation with Evangelist Samson. I think that name is still being used. And because he was a very loved individual within the party, we die under some circumstances where obviously in people, in party, they need some explanation. And hopefully one day in people will get justice. But the issue here at hand is the convoy of the leading opposition leader in the country was actually stopped today, and stop them today, with armed security personnel. Another thing one follow to observe is you could see the difference in the armed personnel. Some of them were kind of measured, Other one then look, yeah, kind of tense. And if you watch keenly, you can actually see them thing. And if you know they watch keenly, apparently not because I don't watch them a few times, but I can always keen on looking for those kind of things. There is somebody calming them down. Normally, you have a brotherhood, then all they go into that motion together because now something they trigger that. So they go into the motion together. But in this case, you see, some of them are already weapon drawn. I don't know whether a cock already or the gun there in safety mode. But one or two of them look really hyper, and another one or two was trying to calm the situation down from the young end. Obviously, when they see what's happening on the other side, but when they see no stones thrown, there's most likely crowd there on the other side of the video because they possibly tape the video, they tape from that crowd where they behind the end. We talk about convoy. So we know say the convoy was made up of many cars and supporters of Dr. Samura Kamara. And yes, the situation looked tense. I'm sure there were no other armed people on the other side, but the security guard for use their guns, like for scared people because this is what they do. But the idea when guns are drawn, from a security perspective, now because most likely they are going to be used. And the interesting thing about that video, I understand other one and the way they go tear gas, which is good because there should be crowd dispersing measures, other measures than the way you can use, apart from using live bullets and killing people, because in death, there is no coming back. You're going to be hurting, like people and then grudge. And then that's why we don't get anywhere. That's the point. If the crippled person, you're like broken foot in a situation, which is not what I'm calling for, but rather than take a life, broke a limb. We just shoot live bullet and kill person, aim person, from the belly up, the chest up. That's fatal. They're most likely going to die than when you shoot them on the foot, which is what I believe the law say. If you feel under threat and what have you, disable the person. That's what you do. Because that person can be attended to and one life saved. But coming back to the video, this is what I observe. The question here now is, why was the convoy stopped? And I ask this question genuinely. Una can pose, those of you who follow this, because I may go work all day today, and I continue to get videos and calls and messages who are not even able to answer. 75, 80% of them. That's why they come over able to talk to a few people and get an idea and follow the story quickly. That's why we're even 14, 15 minutes late. So what do you know about the story? Why was the convoy stopped? Because there could be many, many reasons. We have to be honest about this. So if there was a crowd, obviously, and people feel threatened by the crowd, and you go ask which people, because it seems like everybody been participate, or the bulk of the people been participate, then what is really wrong? And looking at the circumstances and the situation, you want for diffuse, not escalate. That's the difference. Diffuse and not escalate. With guns drawn, it could have become something else. And then another murder of citizens. And we still wait for an inquiry for a few of citizens that we don't pass in the last couple of years. And this will be not add to that. So what really happened? So tomorrow, I know I will get for scotch through evidence on evidence, make few calls and see exactly what happened. But the idea is the convoy of the leading opposition leader, Dr. Samura Wilson-Matthew Kamara'S Convoy, was stopped by security personnel, state security personnel, armed with guns. And we don't say with security people and then they fool about. Where you make up, they don't open fire, they don't shoot, and shoot to kill. Where did the orders come from? Somewhere that this convoy should be stopped? Because now convoy we didn't know about that it was going to happen anyway. They know on the return where culture is people are going to turn up en masse, and owing to the situation of the country. And hypothetically, is there a reason on why the convoy was stopped? Was it intentional? Was it state orchestrated? Did orders come from above that do some intimidatory tactics? We've seen it before, so it's not strange. Did orders come on some side? Remember, I say all of this now at this particular point. Now speculation. I'm speculating. Okay. So Fambulem, just a quick reminder, we'll play one more video. I think this will be the last video for the day, and then we'll do a final analysis and then move on.
The officers, then the power officers, the Umara Biorong give the instruction. They send them block in the way that no pass with flag bearer, Dr. Samura Kamara'S, next president of the Republic of Sierra Leone. As soon as they see, oh, we don't block here. Now, Moscano the pass here. And yeah, now so we do so now. Moscano go, Makeri, Moscano go free to one day. This is the go now, the people are my This is the go low teluna. This is the go. As soon as they see, the Moscano will pass. See? And the Moscano this will block me. There's no for pass. There's the power officers there. Yes, Umara Biorong instruction. They say we not for pass. They say we not foreigner there. So now we show they say we not for foreigner there. Yeah, now yeah, world born. So anyone who make stagger with you, they stagger with a bat. Yeah, they don't go tell President Bio say, now that we say, yeah, say yeah, enough is enough. Yeah, now yeah, world born. Nobody know the intimidate. Nobody yeah, as I tell you now, Fambulem, I'm gonna give you the information.
All right, this other video, Fambulem, is very, very interesting. Let's be really clear and honest about this. This last video, very interesting. I don't support this video. Let me be honestly fair. I'm a law-abiding person. And it seemed for the challenge government forces. And government forces are armed. You see, now they the whole business can well. If they open fire and kill people, obviously people are going to get hurt, wounded, killed, maimed, disabled. Because you not get gun, and it's not necessary at that point. I can equally understand the young man in frustration. I don't agree with him, but I can understand in frustration because that's posing challenge to the security forces. So if something were to happen, and that these people need to be smart about, if something was to happen, now then kind of video they are or audio they are, then they use as evidence. Evidence, absolutely, because that's posing challenge to the security forces. They don't need to play the entire length of the audio, and just the key parts they can extract. If possible, rather, slice and dice them, join them, for making it sound so atrocious, so challenging, so threatening to the security forces who were there, that the security forces then find unjustifiable for do, waiting, then do. So we need for caution. And as we go into difficult times ahead, in terms of elections coming, elections looming, members say we are going to see a lot of them kind of things there. A lot of them. And this is where we really need to be careful. Blocking the roads. Blocking the roads. How much of the road can you really block? I know say you try to put up resistance. How organized is it? How organized is it? How many people are willing to go that way? I mean, for waiting we see, it seems like there's a good number of challenge, because like I watched another earlier video and I see people actually challenging the security forces. I'm not encouraging them for do so, but the idea that they get the temerity, the gall for stand before people like me, I can talk, but by the time I see gun, I can't stand guns. Because accidentally an officer can discharge them or intentionally. The idea is you're gone. And a dead man tells no tales. That man talks to you. Don't go. So we need to exercise caution. Having said this, I don't mean say actions on the part of people should not be taken for be defiant, for be resistant, but it has to be coordinated, because now that can happen. Remember August 10, for example. August 10. You see, another thing I want to follow and watch about the video. I think I get one more video. Or no, I'll play one of the same video again. When I watch this quickly, they will do a song.
Right inside the Maltatier checkpoint. This is a live update. When I see the convoy, take go, they don't block them. Take go, they don't block Dr. Samura Kamara'S and other stakeholders of the party. This na the war where Mother Bio wants na saloon. They don't block the national executive of the APC They don't block the leader of the party, Dr. Samura Kamara'S.
So exactly, these are the points that we want to make again. And I make it can find for we watch them video, they are keenly. Because sometimes the security forces can incite the violence. I mean, this is true. And not only in Sierra Leone, globally, depending on the demo, waiting the security forces intend for do, who they are going up against. You don't have to be armed. Sometimes it's just the naked violence. They're upset with you that you're doing that. And they can come, then stoke the violence. In other words, provoke the violence. Because they know say the crowd will react. Look what in that young man in the talk. We don't go take him. We don't block here. Then we go look one security man, go to cliss him. And then he react. Bam, then fire him. And that, you're in that melee. People begin for run helter-skelter. Few of that guy, they, depending on how strong and bold in friends are, they go charge. And when they charge, they just go, because that's exactly the place where the security forces want to now. They provoke the situation. Do you know, say sometimes they can pile stones them along the way when demonstrations they take place, because then they can't provoke, and then also when they go use them, stone them, which then become effectively a weapon against authorized force. We not say no to every order given is legal, is legitimate, especially so when you take the guns paid for by the tax people, the very citizens that you are meant to protect. You use them guns and therefore protect these corrupt politicians, and then against the people, kill them. But until we begin to hold people accountable, there's going to be a problem. Up till now, there's so much unaccountability. We don't happen in the country. I mean, we can go back to as far as 1967 if you want to talk about that, or shortly after independence. But then you get the 90s. The memories of the 90s is still very much the mindset of Sierra Leoneans them. And shortly before the 90s, the killing of the Minas, the killings of Babe Camara. I mean, this extrajudicial killing. You've got somebody in your custody. You can set up a kangaroo court if you like. And interrogate them. Let them have their day in court, and furthermore, so the law say. But then you will take person from jail and then you vanish them. Somebody mama, somebody sister, somebody brother. And the worst thing is, you do them in the name of responsibility. You do them in the name of transparency, but only for you to come and do even worse. Even worse. Look all the people that were dying in Pademba Road. Look all the people that were dying in Makeni. They've got brothers too. They've got sisters. They've got cousins, nephews. And they are not foreigners, they are Sierra Leoneans. So they are part of the fabric, the thread of that nation. And that nation still weeps. We get for understand, say, my mother and day today, we still cry for them picking them. These were young people that died. And on top of that, for show the violence, they catch them back, they want them way left alive. Then go jail them for months. This is intentional. Say, don't you ever try this again, because you will suffer. We don't say government get beaucoup strength, beaucoup force. But a government all over the world does not show their strength on the citizens by being brutal. It's by showing compassion and love and doing what's necessary for the citizens, not for do what and they do. Because after all, the reason why they can set up inquiry when things then they happen, that for find out exactly what happened, why it happened, so that it never happens again. But not to we case. Not to in we case. All the few inquiry they went and set up now, so kangaroo inquiry. This is a fact. Some of them still pending their parents and not get answers. Relatives and not get answers for what happened. Dozens and dozens of people slaughtered in a prison complex and buried as paupers. Some of them most likely were not even guilty of crimes, or even if they were guilty, petty crimes, or even if it were petty crimes or serious crimes, they not deserve the kind of death where they meet. Did they? What's the business of government? Is it not looking after its citizens, protecting people then? Let me acknowledge a few people and close this program before I get worked up. George Orwell. Yeah, hi, George. How you do, brother? I hope all is well. Jaratu Kamara. Hi, Jerry. I hope all is well. Frederica Crispina. Yes, Crispina. Thanks for watching. Faith Bangura. Hi, Faith. Hope all is well. John Adam. Samura wasn't a foreign minister in 2011. J.B. Dowda was the foreign minister up until 2012 when he was succeeded by Samura. Okay, Many thanks for that correction there, John Adam. But it's a period of time. That's what I was trying to establish. I know that the timeline wasn't exact as Samura been there. And this is the correction that you're making for me, which I accept very, very much. But the idea is that tenure, that period. And Samura himself don't come, he don't talk about and say, well, now be me, you know, yeah, we call for the money and we put on a bank and we order distribution. But after a while, I passed on. So yes, he still get some explanation for do. But many, many thanks, Mr. Adam. Baby to Laga. Thank you, Mr. Koroma. Thank you very much. I'm Kroma, by the way, baby. I don't have yeah, I think say correct and later. Yeah, okay, yeah, it is. Many thanks for that correction. I appreciate that. Sister Josephine Bailey, orders from above. Obviously, I was asking about the convoy, and I think the sister they respond to. Because security forces do get orders, especially within the checkpoint. Is this checkpoint a regular checkpoint? Is it a routine checkpoint, or was it just set up? Was it there, for protect the people and protect the convoy? Because I mean, they talk about how, security forces can provoke a situation because then they try to attract a reaction so that then go use the means of violence against their own people. But normally when they do this, the orders had to come from above. Now, you can see in cases where people of this kind are being tried, or I mean, this kind of case, then they try them. Let's say, for example, the ICC, the International Court of Justice, ICJ, and etc., etc. Not to them phone to bad and they're waiting at the front line. Of course, these are the happy trigger pullers, but they are acting under the orders of senior officers or senior political leaders. Now, that the investigation can prove later. Now, that it can prove later. So, therefore, then go after the senior leaders, then a possible say then low man, and they are acting under the orders of people from above, senior people. Thank you for that, Sister Josephine. Esther Tucker, or Toko. How you do? It's been a while. I guess all is well. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate that. Final one is from Amanatu Sanusi. Hello, Mr. Kroma. Welcome, sir. Me fambulem unadu. Blessed Sunday to you all. Blessed Sunday to you, Sister Amanatu. Name looks new. First time on the platform. In any case, welcome. Unalo shape, Lord, do one last attempt for shape this video, please. We get over 100 people in the watch, combine both Facebook and YouTube. And one last one was at the roundup. So if we all 100 can share, we'll really appreciate that. Thank you so much. So the actions taken by were apparently happened to the front runner, Dr. Samura Wilson Kamara, when they stop in convoy, that prompts some action to be taken by the All People's Congress party. I mean, they release a tweet. Normally, you release a document, a statement. And one of the statements then come in the form of a tweet, which is this one, I believe. Yeah. So as you can see, APC Congress official 2023. So I'm not sure this comes from official sources, but when I can read them, I don't know much more, but it's a tweet. And that show things that will look like evidence, like vehicles that then they claim were fired upon. So in other words, ammunition was released, guns were discharged. In this case, we are lucky. Nobody got hurt. When I say hurt, of course, I see people that were blood, because there's always a melee. But at least nobody no get seriously hurt or no die business, no commodity. But they shoot tires of vehicles, as you can see now the evidence, and etc., etc. And I can read the text for myself. Apparently, we come up from the All People's Congress. But that's the point, Danny, at you. I like the discussion. Thank you. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate you tuning in as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Ayo Taylor is watching. Thanks, Ayo, Sister Ayo. I hope all is well. Many thanks for tuning in. And Sister Amanatu Sanusi again. Amin. Thank you, sir. God bless you and with Mama Salon. Definitely, God bless you all and God bless Mama Salon. Let me round up this program. We will not forget for tuning tomorrow. We get another controversial subject. And these things are serious. Now, things that we will need for Rob Motban. This is not the airport. The airport, until we say it costs 270 million. Of course, we get document now, both from Parliament, and I make we can say even the Parliament is complicit, where the airport apparently cost 300 million plus. Government don't spend 270, but then still they spend 80 day because na cut here, put here, patch here, patch under. That's not the fact now. I don't begin they read into this. The runway will tell we say a fresh runway. No, the runway is not a fresh runway. It's a refurbished runway. It's a refurbished runway. That's what it is. Then the terminal, and then the bridge, the passenger bridge, we collapsed the other day. And we talk about cost. So we don't do part 1 of the program. We go polish them a little bit tomorrow, and then we go over part 2, and probably not for take una too far. Then we will just end them right there, and maybe come with part 3 or put part 2 and 3 together. But definitely, we will tell you tomorrow estimated cost. This is not a rocket science for stay by now looking grown. May see man look at glass and begin telling. No. These are professional cost estimates of apparently what was used, how it was used, and what it cost. The running cost and the initial investment cost over the 25-year period, cost and benefit analysis, what it mean for Sierra Leonean people. That's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. I hope all 104 who are watching now will watch tomorrow, but don't come alone. Make sure everybody counts one person so that we've got a lot of people watching this. The ancients watching from Germany, Cornelius Cole. We have a bigger problem like the one Gentro is bringing about tribalism and religious campaigns message. Cornelius, thank you for bringing this up. I do agree with you, but such not the state where we depend now in that country. It's an issue of division, just like the colonial masters, divide and rule. So you find people and of course, Gento is a Sierra Leonean and therefore get a right for aspire as per the constitution for position, provided that he meet the requirement. What did the requirement say? If you meet them, then of course he can throw in hat na the ring. What you cannot do, now for insight. You see, this is the thing, and here lies the double standard. So in other words, you can incite, but other person will belong to another party cannot do something we also regarded as incitement. Same thing with Dr. Samura in Convoy. Yes, they say the convoy is a kind of public nuisance, but look at the circumstances. The man I make a play the video. When he arrived initially, he talked to him people and when we go home peacefully. This sounds very much like a peaceful person to me. Let we go peacefully. Tomorrow we'll assemble again. I go have word for una. We sing, we party sing, and then we disperse. We go about with business. How you security forces now? If not to provoke, you can't provoke an incident because you expect reaction. People are running, people are upset in terms of the case where they go through. And this is just human nature. Now it don't generate a lot of sympathy because now older man and look at them, they push them about. Naturally, people then go gravitate towards them. Now make you see this massive crowd. And what security forces do? They can add salt per injury. And obviously, decisions of this kind will involve the front runner of the biggest political party in the country. It obviously has to come from somewhere. The police chief, the attorney general, somewhere. Not to that commander, they can't make that decision there because that's a hard decision because you got thousands of people that come your way. How do you react? If you go kill people and another commander ask you, how are you going to defend that? You lose your job and then end up in jail. But this is the double standard. The first lady can go on side with Kabudu, with crowd. Nobody stops her. No checkpoint, no get the gall for stop her in convoy. Of course, no security officer will be stupid enough, but this is the double standard we're talking about. Say, well, people they can't assemble. No, people have got the right to assemble. It's a constitutional guarantee. If you want to make them unconstitutional, then you need for amend the constitution, withdraw that segment they come on inside or rewrite them, amend them. That's what you will have to do. But until then, it is the people's right for assemble. It is the people's right for pick a candidate of their choice and rally around them. It is a right. Rally is a right and it's custom. If you want to outlaw them, make sure say you outlaw them by law so that people don't do it. People don't do it. That's what you need to do. Not to them funny behavior and they know. It doesn't work that way. The president that goes on site, of course, he's the president, so he can call loads of crowd. Sometimes not to call the people, in fact. But it's just the president. People are curious when he goes somewhere. They want to see him, so they follow him. If you come down in convoy in the Waka, you go see scores and dozens and hundreds and thousands of people, then go follow around. But it points your allegiance not to power. But even when you get to power, why then would you stop someone else from doing it if they not broke the law? Suddenly, there's a different interpretation. And some people, and they make that comparison there with the Western world. Well, there are traditions which are the same for people and for come together. Western world football game. People and they go watch football game where they accommodate tens of thousands of people. Then on the street, traffic block, train station block. And on top of that, you can get some rowdy people them where they can carry them, go people shop yonder, damage chair yonder, and make yonder. Do you see police in America or London come up and then people and they and can't begin shoot gun on them? No, they don't do that because there's a way of policing them. Then we'll watch for the ringleaders and try to get them later. Because why? When you charge into a crowd of that kind, it's a recipe for chaos, injury, and sometimes death. The police manual is designed. It did it. But most times they abuse that because they don't get time for we people. They want to do them differently. So that double standard, now you need for stop. If you are going to ban rally, you ban them. For now with tradition. And sometimes it's not the leaders that call these people to come out. Naturally, they gravitate towards them. The same thing may happen to Ibi Chesam, where the ICC, the ACC been a Chesam. You see a crowd of people every time we come out. Naturally, people then will just come to aid people and sympathize with them, people and support them, and things like that. This night they happen. Ladies and gentlemen, the double standard need for stop. The killings then the need for be addressed. Now, one whole administration in Goso, the only video I'm able for Fenwaki is that of candidate Bio, now President Bio, making the case that the people are tired of buying a bag of rice, 200,000, 300,000. The people are tired of paying for this amount. The people are tired of doing it. Yet in this administration, the fact is so crystal clear that the economy is on the rundown. The currency is rubbish, absolute rubbish. There are two currencies running side by side. Professor Kalon was a complete failure, but was kept in that job for years and only got relieved quite recently. You have to ask why. How much was spent to bring those the new currency loans, which is not having an impact at all? Why was it done in the first place? Why was it done at the expense of taxpayer? Why was 67 million, if not more, spent on bribing people and bringing in money into the bank, which did not work? 67 million, according to the former bank governor, used as bribe money, yet no action was brought against him. Where's Francis Ben Kaifala? If this is not corruption of the highest kind, $67 million of taxpayers' money while people are suffering, cost of living over the roof. People can't afford basic things. How for it? Yet you want to be re-elected. Where is the message? What's the state of the economy? Having said this, I still watch the president, the dance. President look very happy. President say no runoff. But of course, it don't become a two-way challenge now. Dr. Samura said they say no runoff. So this is what is ongoing. But in the center of all of this fumbling, please don't let us get fooled. Be wise. Be strong. Be diligent. Be conscious. I like for call these people politicians. Trictions. Not politicians, politicians. They are dangerous. The only problem here is we cannot do without them because it has to be one of the other. There is a symbiotic relationship between these two, whether it's green or red. These two are in bed together. The choices that has to be made has to be well-informed ones. I know right now Sierra Leoneans are feeling the pain. That is very true. They are going through difficult times, unlike I can elect for equator with the 1980s, because in the 1980s, I don't talk this many times in our previous programs, 5 years, 4 years, 3 years ago, I witnessed hardship in Sierra Leone, where Mr. Self noticed him as a small boy. Now we also been eat 3 times a day. Now morning you able to get egg for go school, or you able to sit on a table, dining table, and baked beans, then open and you eat, or fry egg or whatever. If possible, you have a sandwich for take to school, but you go get money, lunch money for buy bread and a bobo or akara. And then also ginger beer you go drink because you still get change. So you buy something, you top, the top. Fanta, Mirinda or top. Make your mouth red. I see whether they change. From fine plazas and permine and fine dry fish to with super simple with super piece. Because they can't tell we waiting a one for tell we where we supposed to stand because why do I have for? It's not on them. It's they're fine. Food. The problem with poor people, now it make way to make a choice. Don't be fooled. I advise you, don't be fooled. By now, if you don't know what is good for you, not to me they try for influence you for vote, I just they tell you what the situation is. Because before then, you will see boku magical things go begin to happen. If possible, you will get free bag rest. Are you going to be able to eat a free bag rest for 5 months? I mean, 5 months. I mean, once say 5 years, but 5 months, fair enough. Not even 5 months, you go eat 1 bag rest for a free bag rest. Then give money, how much money then will give you? Will it last you for that duration of the time and power? Be smart. Use your head. Use your head. Use your intelligence. They will come again. They have started coming. You see the president inside boats. They go visit people up in the countryside. For go open 1 3-bedroom apparent community center. Well, that in itself is a development. But look at the other way it comes and waiting at the impact of that development. I do agree it's a kind of development, some community center, so that people can converge. But what's the intent behind that? Samura Kamara, will he win the 2023 elections? Will he be victimized? Will he be convicted? And as we speak, it hangs over his head. You may not agree. And you will disagree. No, it's not fair, and what have you. But these are the things that we have to deal with. These are the things that we have to deal with. The justice system is corrupt, very corrupt. It's been manipulated in the interest of those in power. Having said this, and when I say those in power, it means anybody within a power, then manipulate the justice system. What we should be working towards is dousing the power of the president, taking away some of the power. The president of the republic is a very, very powerful man. So was Ernest Koroma, very powerful. I don't think they now for the try for take away and power day. Tuboku, we need for dilute them. Let's be honest. We really need for dilute that power day, and that will help. Apportion some of them powers and to the other various arms of government, probably the other two, so that the executive, which is the most powerful of them all, don't have to weigh this powerful influence over the judiciary. We're supposed to look out in terms of the laws, interpretation of that law. But before then they go interpret the law, we're going to parliament. Parliament don't have to be influenced by a powerful executive. We're saying that so I want the law designed. Where a president go free a convicted murderer, and then a day or two later recant the statement, but after the convicted murderer is gone. Who is that on? It's on the president. Those that surround him who made that decision. I mean, we're not get shame. The presidency is supposed to be the beacon of hope. purity, sanity. Yet look at the things and they will happen. Convicted criminal. And free him deliberately, then put his name on the paper. Come out, it became a big hoo-ha in the country. President reversing decision, and then they say the man don't escape. Salon people, let's be wise. Let's be prudent. Let's pray for our country. The next few weeks is going to be a difficult time for us Sierra Leoneans. We should hope and pray that we overcome what is to come with some degree of grace and understanding. We really need to pray for this. For too long, we allow criminals then forget away. People then we abuse the sanctity of the state, the generosity of the state. People then we not get the interest of the people at heart. We just can't, exploit the people then. And that we see we fought war, we glad the way the war done. But where justice was supposed to be meted out to those who perpetrated the war. In the war, you don't necessarily need for shoot a gun, but if you direct, if you instruct, if you participate, if you design or help in any way, shape, or form of that thing, then you are a participant and accessory to the crime. What happened to we 1990 was a crime against the Sierra Leonean people. And tens of thousands of we die. Couple of thousands of us again lost limbs, babies, small picking them, then cut them and them. Out of that atrocity, they will happen. Yet waiting happen, we see them one day will be responsible. We're going to the Bantaba, Libya, for which they hold a foreign head of state, Charles Taylor. They all are responsible for waiting happiness Salome. But during in testimony that the International Court of Justice, the ICC, whilst focus was on the late rebel leader, Corporal Fode Sanko, he said, when the man was the man was been sit down with, and na in accuse na Ali Kaba. That's the man that know. But never has Ali Kaba been called to the dock. Somehow he walked free. And not only walked free, he was rewarded. He became a foreign minister, an ambassador to New York, the UN consulate in New York. And then for some reason, in a demotion move, God knows why. I would really like to know why. From New York, then Pulan Komode, he became an ambassador to Egypt. That's a demotion by every standard. But it might be strategic. And for me, with my critical mind, I'd like to know why. You get others than in Rwanda, Colonel Issa, a man will cooperate with the body, Pakaba, the late Pakaba, who eventually became the head of state. He cooperates with him for bring peace. Then a General Issa Sisi. I'm not backing anything that he does. I'm not a killer. I didn't fight. I didn't hold a gun. But it helped for bring the peace. And Pakaba mentioned him. His name was mentioned, was read out. Because I think after the whole Sebana Sanko, Issa na imidi run the RAF. And through to incorporation, he helped for end the war. Yet today, he is in Rwanda. They're not even commute in prison sentence. They've left him there to rot, to die. Yet those who actually design, they instruct, then canvass, then look for money, then campaign, then align themselves with others, including Mike Lamine, where they, I think now Wales or Scotland, they're walking around free. Sierra Leoneans, be wise, be intelligent, be strong, look for the truth. Because only the truth will set us free. Until tomorrow, we will not hear from me regarding the airport, we will believe it costs far less than the 300 million. We get parliamentary document, the agreement from Parliament. So Parliament being complicit in that deal. The same parliamentarians, them, where they can make all a drama in a Parliament as if they in favor of the people. Not forget for join me. And like I say, there was 124 of us, 115 now. Please, 115 of you are the astronaut for joining the platform tomorrow, I think 6 p.m. or so. But not only come alone, come with somebody else. I will leave you again on this note. The election they come, and decision has to be prudent, because now 5 years, not for 5 days, not for 5 months, 5 years. If you've been a study for a PhD, you've been to do a research, you will have acquired or become some expert in some discipline. Imagine that. It will transform you from high school to university during that period from one, you know. It will take you from kindergarten, you come inside primary level, to a point where they can't take you selective. I don't know whether they do selective anymore. I'm from the old school. So that's why decision where you get for make, you have to be well thought through. One last time, Sierra Leoneans, I ask you, be smart, be intelligent, be tough, be robust. Open your mind and make sure you make the right decision. This has been a TNN TV Media Empire production. I am Prince Emil Kroma. Today, the 2nd day of April, 2023. Until tomorrow, we'll catch up again. Can I say goodbye for now? Thank you and good night.